I've got the spores, the sickness. There's the twins in my brain.
Ben O'Connor is the proud owner of the red jersey after a first tough week of La Vuelta. Who would have thought that 10 days ago? Welcome to a new episode of the Domestique Cycling Podcast, in which we review La Vuelta stages 5 to 9. And joining me today is Yves. Welcome, mate.
Good afternoon, good evening, whatever.
After stage 4, Yves, you said that we had 3 GC contenders left for the overall win, being Roglic, Almeida and Mas. Since then, a lot has changed, isn't it?
Well, I think you can say that, yeah. We've seen some surprising things, very surprising things. GC has completely changed. We saw weaknesses, strengths. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting and entertaining first week of the Vuelta in general.
An interesting first week. Let's dive into the action of the last couple of days, starting with stage 5. Stage 5 was a good day for you in the Domestique picks on our Twitter accounts, because you predicted the winner, Pavel Bittner.
Yeah. He was on my radar after Burgos. Yeah, of course, he won his 2 first professional victories there. Going into the Vuelta with the sprinting field that's quite weak, without disrespect, he surely has a shot, and it was on paper the easiest stage of this year's Vuelta. So it was the chance for Bittner to take his first Grand Tour win, stage win, and he took it by beating Van Aert fair and square. But we have to be honest, Van Aert was a little bit hindered, I don't know, by the shadows. He launched his jump a bit.
Confused.
Yeah, he launched it a bit too soon, so he jumped twice, but still, it was a nice battle between Bittner and Van Aert in that sprint.
It was close between Bittner and Wout van Aert, but the excellent lead out came from Alpecin de Koning. Hayden Groves, he kind of screwed it up.
Well, it's like, Groves doesn't have the confidence to launch it at the perfect moment. You see he misses that confidence, because a confident sprinter just launched it after that work that Lido did. The sprint, it was the perfect length, it was the perfect range for a sprint, but he waited out. He wasn't able to keep up with Bittner and Van Aert, who came over him with way more speed.
On to stage 6, a stage of which we all thought it was going to be a breakaway day. But looking back at it now, did you expect such a strong breakaway?
No, I think Red Bull made a huge mistake there. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, to be complete, made a huge mistake there, but such a strong group, letting them go up the road. They had Lipowitz in that group, a very strong climber, promising climber. But they let the gap go massively. I don't know what's the biggest gap they had, but it was 8 minutes or something. And there was someone in that group, a certain Australian, Ben O'Connor, who had diamond in his legs. He was just pushing away those pedals, those watts, dropped everyone. The second over the finish line at the end was Marco Frigo, over 4 minutes and a half on O'Connor. And the GC group finished 6 minutes 30 behind the Australians. So what a phenomenal day by O'Connor. You can't really know that as being Red Bull, that O'Connor would be that strong. But
still, their tactics were pretty weird. I had the feeling at first. Red Bull Bora didn't seem to want to let the breakaway go, and they were chasing it pretty hard, and the gap was around a minute for a pretty long time. So then I had the feeling, okay, Lipowitz is in there, but they don't want to let it go. And then all of a sudden the gap started to grow, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and they were looking to other teams, like, come on guys, help us in the chase. Visma, they said, we don't want to do the chase. We're not interested. We've worked for Wout van Aert on multiple occasions already, and the team isn't strong enough to do so. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Bahrain Victorious who started to cooperate in the chase for Antonio Tiberi, which was kind of weird in my eyes as well. But I don't know. I don't have the feeling that was a perfect day for Red Bull Bora. What do you have?
But yeah, the interview afterwards with Patsy Villa, the director sportive from Bora, he mentioned they wanted to play out Lipowitz. They wanted to scare the other GC teams because they know how promising the German is. But they expected him to be able to follow O'Connor, and he wasn't able to. At that moment, Red Bull had to switch, in my opinion, to start full-on riding in the bunch to close that gap as much as possible. But they kept on playing poker, looking at other teams, and they made this Vuelta more difficult for them the upcoming 2 weeks with that move.
All of a sudden, Ben O'Connor was in the red jersey, and he had an advantage of 4 minutes 51 seconds on the second in the GC, being Primoz Roglic.
Yeah.
I don't think Benny Boy would have thought that morning.
No, but it's golden content. Every post-race interview we see from Ben O'Connor is just gold. He's so honest. He doesn't really have a filter, so it's just his raw feelings that are coming out. It's insane. He's having he's enjoying his life so much right now in the red jersey, and we will talk about it later, but he's overperforming hugely at this moment. Still 2 weeks to go, but he has insane legs.
He also completed his trilogy of Grand Tour stage wins, which was the moment I thought about that, like, oh damn, he can complete that trilogy. I had forgotten he won a Giro d'Italia stage as well. Yeah. But it says something about the rider Ben O'Connor as well. He's not just a GC rider, but on his day he is an excellent stage hunter as well. If he wants to be.
Yeah, he's a very complete rider. He can go ham on a stage. He's a good GC rider, but yeah, a Grand Tour is always something different, and he always has that 1-2 bad days during a 3-week Grand Tour. He only reached once the podium of a Grand Tour, if I recall correctly. So yeah, but now it's a golden chance for Ben, and yeah, not a lot of pressure for him.
Everyone talks about Ben O'Connor doing crazy things in GC, but all of a sudden Christian Rodriguez, and he was like in 6th or 7th place in GC. For the Arkea rider, that's quite a nice move as well.
Yeah, he has quite a big advantage on our pre-race prediction of finishing 18th in the general classification. He's doing better in that, so yeah, but phenomenal to see. He's still pretty young as well, Christian Rodriguez. He's 29. That's not old, don't understand me wrong, but still, it's a strong performance from him there, and overall, till now, he's still in the mix.
Ben O'Connor was the big winner, but yeah, as is the case on every stage, there were losers that day as well. Adam Yates lost a lot of time, Matthew Riccitello as well. I guess both of them were involved in crashes?
Yeah, it was off camera, a crash in the technical descent. The asphalt was pretty bad as well. He just slid away, Adam Yates, and then the race director decided to get all the cars out of the gap. That way Yates wasn't able to close it anymore, and he lost, 2 minutes, 2 minutes 20 on the GC group, on the red jersey group. So yeah, it was back then GC over for the Brit.
We'll get back to that. There was another rider involved in the crash as well. Someone who is kind of a legend in Colombia, Rigoberto Urán. He was doing his final Grand Tour of his career, and he broke his hip. He was going to retire at the end of the season, and yeah, right now it might even seem like that was his final day on the bike.
Or maybe he does a Cavendish and does another year to say goodbye in a more beautiful way than this.
Yeah, with what goal? Just saying goodbye, or
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Cavendish had a clear goal.
Yeah, but I think it's a personal thing as well. You're in your retiring year. It's your final Grand Tour in Spain, and then to leave it in what was it, stage 6. I don't think you want to end your career like this. So maybe he just wants to end it in a more beautiful way. I don't
Maybe
know.
ended in Colombia. On the right, Wout van Aert was invited to last
Oh,
year.
I thought he was gonna say maybe do an extra year with Team Medellin together with Oscar Sevilla, the 50-year-old.
About Wout van Aert, stage 7 was his day again. There was a final climb within the final hour of racing. We've seen some GC action on there.
Yeah, it was the Alto del 14%. Yeah, the name is not that original. Why 14%? It's not averaging 14%. No, there is a small section, 14%. But yeah, it was Visma. Visma Leasebike pushed up the pace at the foot of the climb, but then quickly Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe took over. God knows why they did that, to be honest. They burned down all their guys pretty fast. Like Dani Martinez could only do 1 minute at the front, and then Roglic was isolated. The Slovenian then decided to attack with 30 men still in his wheel. But then, he saw there was no real team to control it anymore. So Kuss tried to attack once. Then we saw a Mas attack. We saw some GC men, not knowing what to do. So let's try and put some pressure on Roglic. But yeah, that was for me maybe the weirdest stage so far in this Vuelta. Team goals, team strategy from Red Bull mainly there was very questionable for the second day in 3 days after the O'Connor stage. Now again. But yeah, because it was that hard, that climb, it was a small group, reduced group, and only Kuss was able to help Van Aert. He was the only guy left for Visma Leasebike. But what the American did on the flat towards the finish,
Sivakov had attack. He did an attack, and Kuss brought him back. It was like that.
Yeah, it was Soler. Soler launched in the descent, and he had 20-25 seconds. When they reached the flat, there was no real cooperation in that chasing group. Yeah, why? We all know why. Wout van Aert was in there, and if you go with Wout van Aert to the line, you're not winning it. But Kuss, just brought Soler back, and then there was a final attack from Sivakov into the final 1.5 kilometers. And then it's Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe (11) this week. Vlasov brought it back for no one because Roglic wasn't even competing in the sprint at the end. And Wout van Aert, easy win after all. He just outsprinted everyone. Vacek, Mikel, Kung with other ease.
Van Aert, he dedicated his win to the team philosophy of Team Visma Leasebike, if I recall correctly. He said, in our team, it's about doing work for others and winning as a team. Everyone works for everyone if there's an occasion to do so. And what Sepp Kuss did, being the reigning champion of La Vuelta, that was very nice to see.
Yeah, he mentioned it as well. Kuss only weighs 16 kilos and he's not really known for his time trial capabilities. But what he did on the flat was extraordinary. Wout mentioned himself, and he just wanted to win the stage, wanted to finish it off for all the work Kuss did, because he was so thankful. And you saw the hugs after the finish and the gratitude coming from the Belgian. It was lovely to see, and that team mentality within Visma Leasebike, that's work of multiple years. It's not something you can build within 2-3 months. You really have to get that mentality into the team. And if it pays off like that, I think as team management, it's beautiful to see.
And it's the best marketing you can have.
Yeah, indeed.
No points for Caden Groves that day.
No, yeah, his own stupid mistake. Let's be honest. Although stupid, I don't know. He was climbing very well on that Alto del 14%. What a name. It's like he was 35 seconds behind the group with Van Aert, but then right before they went over the top, he was looking back. He was completely cooked as well, which is normal, and he clipped the back wheel of Nairo Quintana, and he just hit the deck, and then it's impossible for Groves to come back. But yeah, he showed there that he has the climbing legs, that he's climbing very strong. But yeah, pity for him, and it's I think it's his chance to win the green jersey is completely done.
After stage 4, we had that discussion, and you still believed in the green jersey for Caden Groves, but now it's over.
That Bitner stage was very important, and he had to take some stages into going into the stage of Cordoba as well. He didn't do it, and I think that's it doesn't benefit him at all in that fight, and he's not able to crawl that back. Of course, if Van Aert gets ill or something, but we don't want that to happen, of course.
Do you have the feeling Groves still believes in it himself?
I don't know. There aren't any sprint chances left. It's just climbing till we reach Madrid. Does he still believe in it? I don't know. If I would be Groves, I wouldn't believe in it, to be fair, but I'm not a professional cyclist. I have not the mentality of a professional cyclist. So I hope he still believes in it. But yeah, we saw Van Aert today in a mountain stage in the break again as well. Yeah, it's clear that Van Aert is has the best chances to win it.
As you mentioned, stage 7 was the final sprint opportunity. Stages 8 and 9 were GC days, and with Primoz Roglic being back on top in stage 8. The stage ended on a final steep climb of around 4 kilometers. The breakaway had Harold Tejada in there, and I think he survived until like 900 meters to go. He was really strong.
Yeah, he went into the final kilometer solo. But yeah, the GC man came over him with so much speed. That one, we were watching it together, and that one image that he went into the left corner, he looked up and he saw how steep it was. I saw it again this morning, and he was like, "Oh no, not this!" It was. He had crazy legs, and Dieter predicted him in the domestic picks that day. So kudos to Dieter to pick the right guy for the right stage. It wasn't the right guy, of course, but yeah, it was the best of the breakaway guys.
Well, if you believed in a breakaway, he was the best.
Yeah.
At the foot of the climb, there was a crash. I think it was Alexander Vlasov who bumped into the back wheel of Sepp Kuss and then hit the deck. But also, it caused problems for Lennart van Eetveld as well. But yeah, soon after that, it was Primoz Roglic himself who kind of accelerated.
Yeah, Roglic did again what he did the previous stages, attacking
the opponents.
Yeah, attacking multiple times, but not going all in, I have the feeling, and then just keep up the pace high so the others don't have time to recover and then go again. It worked on stage 8, but only Enric Mas was able to stick relatively easy, in my opinion, to the wheel of the Slovenian. I don't know what Mas has been eaten between the end of the second week of the Tour de France and now, but he's phenomenal. You mentioned it in the preview as well. Mas and the Vuelta, it's something special, and he's showing it this first week. But yeah, when you go to the line with Roglic in a head-to-head sprint, 99% of the times you don't beat him. So that's what happened again.
I think Enric Mas launched the sprint with like 400 meters to go. It was a pretty long effort by Mas. And at that moment I said, "Oh, come on, mate, what are you doing? Wait like 150 to go." But yeah, even then you can't beat Roglic on such an effort. If you bring him to the line, he's a real killer. So kudos to Mas. It was a good day for him, and it was also a pretty good day for Mikel Landa. He only lost like 15 seconds, I think. So yeah, he's still in the battle.
Yeah, Landismo is back, or yeah, he isn't back. He has never been
He's
gone.
still there.
He's never been gone. Or is it Landismo Saurus Rex right now? I don't know. But yeah, he's that other Spaniard who's performing very strong in this Vuelta. It's his first Grand Tour within Soudal Quickstep that he's played out as a leader without Remco Evenepoel at the start line. And I think he's doing a more than decent job in this first week.
It wasn't a super day for Ben O'Connor. Before the stage, he had 5 minutes advantage on Roglic. After it, he had 4 minutes left. He lost 56 seconds, including bonifications. But what is more important was that Felix Gall, his super domestique, was stronger than him.
Yeah.
And Gall didn't even wait at a certain point.
No, that was pretty weird to see. And after that stage, I was thinking, if O'Connor already loses a little less than 1 minute on such mountain, what is he gonna give on Sunday? The first real mountain, very tough mountain test. But yeah, and why didn't Gall wait? I have no clue. I haven't seen any interviews from the team. But yeah, weird tactics there. But overall, Decathlon this first week, after they got the green jersey, is doing insane work. You see they are not used to it. Sometimes they are riding when they don't have to ride. But yeah, they're doing a very good job to honor that red jersey and to help O'Connor as good as they can.
The GC rider who lost the most time on stage 8 was João Almeida. He lost 5 minutes, and that brings us to the start of stage 9. He didn't start that stage due to a COVID infection. At that point, I thought, oh man, UAE Team Emirates, what are you going to do now? The only GC hope left was João Almeida. At that point, he was gone. But then Adam Yates stood up.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I've been talking about what Enric Mas has been eating since the end of the second week of the Tour de France till now. But the meal that the UAE chef prepped yesterday night for Adam Yates, it has to be something special. He had insane legs, and the race was full on right from the gun today. No time to relax at all. And he brought it home. But what's most interesting for me, I don't know if you saw his post-race interview. You probably saw it as well.
I don't give a fucking shit about GC.
Yeah, first of all, he was completely done. The heat in this first week has been insane. We talked about it in the previous podcast. But
we shouldn't underestimate the heat. That has a huge effect on the riders.
The victims it created through this first week is insane, together with the fatigue that's building up. Yates just said he suffered all day long. It was a battle against the heat. He was already suffering from the heat on the first ascent of that climb. I don't know what the name is, the Alto de Hazalanas or something. He suffered already in the first ascent there, but he had to go because Carapaz was closing in quite fast already at that point, and he didn't want Carapaz to get on the wheel. So that was a brilliant move from the guy from UAE. But it was still 58 kilometers to go to the finish. And it's not like Yates is known for long solo rides. But yeah, probably sleeping next to Tadej Pogačar during the Tour de France helped him with this idea.
And all of a sudden, Adam Yates is back in GC. Although he says he's not interested, but he's in 7th place.
I don't believe
5 minutes 30 seconds behind Ben O'Connor, and only 1 minute 37 behind Primoz Roglic. So if he really wants to go for it, it's not over yet.
He
Do
will go for
you
it.
do you see him? Do you still see him as a GC contender?
After today, yes, it was the perfect timing. Sunday stage, Monday rest day, and Tuesday is a pretty easy stage as well. So yeah, he has time to recover properly till Wednesday when there is another GC test. So I think it's the perfect moment to do a move like this and to get the rest you need to recover for the next week and a half of racing. So yeah, he's certainly in the mix again for the red jersey in Madrid.
Yates moved up, but so did Richard Carapaz. You already mentioned him. Real ciclismo, Yves. I had Alberto Contador vibes.
Yeah, got to love Richard Carapaz. The guy, he doesn't always have the best legs, but he keeps on fighting till the finish. And if, he drops time, earlier days he just goes ham, doesn't care about public opinion or about basic physics, about how it works to save energy. He just goes and he see where he finishes at the end. So
For the fans who missed it, Carapaz went on the move with like 85 kilometers to go on the first climb of the day.
yeah.
And I think it was Ben O'Connor who said in the post-race interview, I didn't think Richard Carapaz would go all the way. I expected him to be back soon, but they didn't see him back.
Yeah, it was on that first categorized climb of the day. It was very hot. The heat was mentioned again in that O'Connor interview as well. And he just went all in, and EF, Education First, played it perfectly with the work of James Shaw and Darren Rafferty. Special shout out to Rafferty, because the work he did for Carapaz, although it was a relative small amount, but it was insane. It gives that Carapaz that bit of rest. Because we have to know Carapaz launched with more than 80 k's to go, but the gap to the front group was over 5 minutes. So yeah, you're in no one's land for a while. But I think Rafferty stopped at the side of the road, even if I heard the coverage properly, of the presentators properly, because he wanted to be with Carapaz as soon as possible. So yeah, it was insane to see, and good move by Education First to do it today as well, for the same reason as I mentioned with Yates.
Same question as with Adam Yates. Richard Carapaz moves up to place 3, 4 minutes 32 behind Ben O'Connor and only 39 seconds behind Primoz Roglic. Is he one of the main favorites for the overall win now for you? That's a very difficult question, isn't it?
For me, it's more difficult now with Yates. Don't ask me why, because I don't really know. Do you know why?
No, for me it's very difficult because on stage 8, for instance, he was not among the best climbers. So I would rather say no, he's not one of the big favorites, but he's dangerous. They can't let him go once again.
He's dangerous because this race, how it's turning out to be, is chaos. There's not like a real team that can control the race.
He's very unpredictable.
And yeah, if he slips into a break again with 20 plus riders and there is some hesitation again from a Red Bull or a Decathlon, he's so unpredictable that it's dangerous, and he can still win this Vuelta. He doesn't need to have the best legs, purely because he has that let's go for it, that guerrilla mentality to just do unpredictable things, and that creates a little bit of chaos in the team buses from the opposition.
The GC group granted a big amount of time once again to Adam Yates. What did you think about the performance of Red Bull Bora today?
Weird.
I have the feeling they are not super strong, to be honest.
It's like I haven't seen I have seen most of the stage, but I haven't seen Dani Martinez today.
Exactly. On paper, they have a huge team, but I haven't seen it in the race. Lipovic is very strong,
Yeah,
but the team in depth is kind of disappointing for me.
yeah. It's Vlasov, it's Lipovic. We see the most of next to Roglic, and of course you have the Aliotti who's doing the first work on the early slopes of the climbs, and then you have a Nico Dens who's doing insane work on the flat as well. But with that team that they brought to this Vuelta, you can expect more. Dani Martinez, we haven't seen at all from him this Vuelta. Roger Adria, I expect more from him as well. To be honest, the guy can do something. I haven't seen him on television for more than 1 hour of 1 hour and a half. Dani Martinez, as already mentioned. I hope they grow into the race because the race actually starts almost next week after the rest day because of the tough stages that are still coming. But it doesn't really give confidence to the team management or to Roglic.
Not at all. The past few days, we've seen Bahrain victorious work on multiple occasions, but yeah, today we had the did not finish of Antonio Tiberi. The team is kind of killed now.
Yeah, it's a pity to see. We already saw Tiberi struggle the past few stages with the heat. He was able to stick to the GC group, although he was dropped now and then or at the back, just fighting to stay there. But when he does his cool down ride on the rollers right before they go to the finish, I saw they were trying to do everything with wet towels over his head and just to get him cool again. So yeah, we mentioned it multiple times already today. We mentioned in the previous podcast as well. The heat is making victims, casualties all over the place.
It was Damon Arensman, I think, who was in the ambulance because of a heat stroke.
Yeah, he had a heat stroke like Arensman. That's the quality of fighting for GC here. But he just can't cope with the heat. And if the first week of a Vuelta is in the south of Spain, then you have to be able to cope with the heat. That's the advantage maybe that a Mas has. If I recall correctly, he's from Mallorca. That's pretty hot there as well. Not as hot as it's right now in the south of Spain, of course, but he's more used to the high temperature than Arensman is in the Netherlands, or Tiberi. I don't know from where exactly he is in Italy. But yeah, I think a lot of riders are happy they are leaving the south of Spain right now. They are taking the plane tonight, and when they hop off the plane, it's 10 degrees cooler than it's where they are right now. But yeah, a Mas, for example, maybe a half a week longer or a week longer in the heat, he would have liked it as well. So
probably. Primoz Roglic was the first among the GC men to accelerate on the final climb of stage 9. I wasn't super impressed by Primoz Roglic that time, and so wasn't Enric Mas. He accelerated the next time. Went on the move alone. Primoz Roglic couldn't hold his wheel, but yeah, we all know Enric Mas isn't the best descender of the bunch, and yeah, that's what we saw. He made a mistake, and he was very, very lucky he could save it.
Yeah, that was pretty scary to see. In his post-stage interview, he mentioned it probably looked worse on the television than it was in real life. But I don't know, there wasn't a lot of room left to slow down. Certainly when he was in the dirt there, it was quite tricky, and one wrong move could have ended him. Yeah, he could have hit the floor. But yeah, he's confident. He was still pretty confident in a post-stage interview as well. He has crazy legs. Yeah, even the attack on the flat towards the finish today even. It's not a Mas that we're used to see. Mas and attacking, Mas is mostly a Louis Meintjes and not really a Tadej Pogacar. But now he wanted to do a Tadej Pogacar. And yeah, if he can keep up those legs, for me, he's the best rider in the race at the moment.
He took an advantage of 1 minute on the uphill,
Yeah.
lost all of it in the descent as he got caught again by the GC group. The GC group could sprint for 4 bonification seconds, so I thought, okay, Primoz Roglic, here we go again. But nope, he didn't even really sprint. It was Ben O'Connor who won that sprint and took some more time. And that's for me a big indication that this wasn't the best day for Primoz Roglic.
Yeah, they will have to analyze it within the team. If this is the bad day of Roglic in this Vuelta, then it's a good bad day because he didn't really lose that. Yeah, he didn't lose time on his nearest competitors. But if it's a downward trend starting from today, then it's a bigger problem because we're only stage 9. And that's maybe something I feared before this Vuelta. I mentioned it to you, if I recall correctly, a Vingegaard scenario. A very strong first week and then sliding down form-wise. Now it's an indication that the form wasn't good enough today. Is it a bad day? And if he strikes again on Wednesday, then we can put all our assumptions in the fridge again. But it's
but what is the most striking is that Primoz Roglic isn't the best climber of this Vuelta. He's not gaining time on his opponents on the uphill, and that's a problem.
But before today, he surely was the man to beat. He looked impressive. He was in control. He wasn't able to drop Mas when he attacked, but still, I had the feeling it was all under control. He knew what he was doing. He went to the finish line with Mas knowing I can beat him in the sprint, and also knowing there's still 2 weeks left to go. I was confident that Roglic would wear the red jersey in Madrid. But right now,
I don't have that feeling today, to be honest.
No, it will all depend. Is it a bad day? One bad day through 3 weeks is normal. Then it's a good bad day, like I mentioned. But if it's the start of his form going down, then it's then Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe has a real problem.
Let's have a look at the losers of stage 9 as well. Matthias Kjelmose, Sepp Kuss, and Christian Rodriguez lost 1 minute and 50 seconds on the GC group. Lennart van Eetveld, he's one of the biggest victims of the day. He lost 3 minutes and a half on the GC group, and his GC is kind of over. He drops back to place 15. So how do you see the future of Lennart van Eetveld in this Vuelta?
He was my domestic pick for today. A pity I picked him. Why did I pick him? Because yesterday at the stage Roglic won against Mas. He was involved in that crash at the foot of the climb, but he recovered it almost to perfection. He wasn't able to close it to Roglic, but he didn't lose that much time. But right now, I don't know. I haven't seen any interviews yet from Van Eetveld, but was he suffering from the heat? Were the legs not there? He had some trouble in the build-up toward the Vuelta as well with some knee issues. Does he have pain again in the knee? We don't know. But if he's healthy and just as the bad day, I would just drop time Wednesday, because he's 15th now in GC, and go stage hunting, because he has the perfect profile to hunt for stages. He's explosive at the finish and he can climb very strong. So if I can give him advice, take your rest next few stages, take some time, and then go ham into the final week or the second half of the second week.
Before we talk about our GC favorites going into week 2, let's have a look at the GC top 10 and the profiles of the next stages. So Ben O'Connor is in the red jersey. Primoz Roglic in second at 3 minutes 53. Richard Carapaz, third place, 4 minutes 32. Enric Mas, fourth place, 4 minutes 35. Fifth place is for Mikel Landa at 5 minutes and 17 seconds. In 6th is Florian Lipovic at 5 minutes 29 seconds. 7th place, Adam Yates, 5 minutes 30. So is Felix Gall in 8th place. 9th place is for Carlos Rodriguez at 6 minutes. And 10th place, David Gaudu at 6 minutes 32, which is kind of surprising, to be honest, David Gaudu. Then next, what can we expect from week 2?
First of all, Monday rest day.
That's very welcome.
Then I think Tuesday is a break stage. I think a strong break will be formed on Alto de Fonfria. It's not the steepest climb, but it's a long climb, so we'll probably have it's maybe a time for the Riccitello to get in the break. The guy has maybe some issues getting in the break on the flat. It goes uphill pretty quickly after the real start, so maybe that's his way to get in the break. Of course, the stage end isn't really suited for him. It's not a mountaintop finish, but can Wout van Aert maybe survive that stage, or will he try something in this stage?
It's definitely possible. The stage isn't impossible for Wout van Aert, but I think maybe stage 11 is even better.
That steep final mountain 2.8 with an average of 9.2. Probably Red Bull will try something again there on those slopes over 10%. They still have to crawl back.
Yeah, but
time
will
on
they care about the stage win?
I don't know.
In my opinion, we have a lot of opportunities for the breakaway now because, Ben O'Connor, he is not going to chase breakaways. Definitely not when there's no significant danger in there. And Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, I don't think they will chase the break. They are not super strong. We've seen that in the stage that Ben O'Connor won, and they want some support as well. So
I don't really know if we will see a lot of. I think it's gonna be a very weird second week because there are so many uncontrollable things. No one knows who's the strongest. The gaps in the GC are already pretty big. Teams aren't strong or aren't that strong. There's not really a dominant force within the peloton. So we have seen
stages 10 and 11 are breakaway stages for me.
We have seen break stages, but like Yates was in the break today. Then we have had an O'Connor. Like what if a Sivakov gets in the break? What are you gonna do now? Then he's 11th in GC. It's because I have the feeling if there is a strong guy in the break and the break is strong, there isn't a GC team who's able to bring it back. So if
That's
you just
true,
if you have like a Sivakov, for example, or like a second guy relatively close in the GC, just send them into the break. It just gives you an extra card to play with during the Vuelta. So those break stages are gonna be pretty interesting. Pity we don't have coverage from start to the finish. So follow Domestique Live for all updates before it's on television. But 10, 11 break stages, but it's gonna be interesting, and I don't think it's just aren't ordinary break stages.
No, that's for sure. Stages 12 and 13 are mountaintop finishes on Estación de Montaña de Manzanera, and 13 on Puerto de Ancares. That's a 7.5 kilometer climb with an average gradient of 9%. So that's a pretty difficult final climb.
Look at that profile. Look at the profile of Puerto de Ancares. They have the first 2 kilometers average is 2.9%. So without those 2 kilometers, the average of the climb is way over 10%. That's if Roglic has the legs, it's Roglic territory.
Absolutely. Stage 14 ends after the downhill of Puerto de Leitarriegos. That's a 22.8 kilometer climb with 4.5% average. Not super steep, but yeah, pretty long. And then stage 15 on Sunday is 3,800 vertical meters, ending on an hors category climb, Yves.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning that name of the climb. If you want, you can go for it. But yeah, 19 kilometers of climbing with an average of 7%, a little bit more than 7%. It's cruel. It's good. The heat will be a bit less then. But the Vuelta peloton, just have so much more hard work to do till they reach Madrid. And then we have a final week as well. Not even mentioning that third week. We are only 9 stages far, and the things we've already seen, this Vuelta, it's incredible.
Got a couple of questions left to end this episode. Will Ben O'Connor still be in the red jersey on the next rest day?
Jesus, that's gonna backfire again when you podcast. I think no.
If Ben O'Connor won't be in the red jersey on the next rest day, who will be?
Enric Mas.
And who is your big favorite for the overall win in Madrid?
If I say Enric Mas is gonna wear the red jersey on the rest day, I think he takes it home to Madrid.
All right.
Can you answer the same questions?
Ben O'Connor won't be in red on the next rest day. I think Primoz Roglic will be in red on the next rest day. And I think he won't win it in Madrid. But I have some major doubts about who will be. Enric Mas is among the two names. And I can't predict what is going to happen with Richard Carapaz. I have troubles. He was my pre-race favorite.
And mine as well.
He's so weird.
He's a fighter.
I would love it.
And one more thing maybe. Carlos Rodriguez. He's known to perform good into a final week of the Grand Tour. I think Rob Hatch mentioned it in the coverage today. He's able to stick to the GC men relatively well. He loses some time here and then, but he's not that far away. With the hard end of the second week and the third week still coming, can he get close to the Vuelta podium, or do you think that's impossible for him?
He's in 9th place right now. He will move up. I'm sure of that. He's 1 minute and a half behind the podium. Yeah, I think he will finish around 5th place.
So podium not possible for you.
Places 4 or 5 for me.
Maybe one more interesting battle. It's me asking the questions right now. Florian Lipowitz is the owner of the white jersey. Tiberi is gone, but still Carlos Rodriguez is in that fight as well. Do you think the German from Red Bull is able to hold this till Madrid? Will he be able to hold his place in the top 10 in general classification and battle with Carlos Rodriguez?
I think he can finish in top 10, but I'm afraid he won't win the white jersey.
Yeah.
It all depends actually on what is going to happen with Primoz Roglic.
Yeah, if Roglic, his form is really declining, it opens up a little bit of freedom for Lipowitz, who doesn't have to Domestique anymore. So
you mentioned stages 10 and 11 can be very interesting for such riders as Florian Lipowitz if he gets in there. I don't think Primoz Roglic will be mad because Decathlon AG Desert will be pretty scared. Red Bull won't chase it. Who will?
All the other teams, I think. EF is going to chase. UAE is going to chase. I don't think if you're in that top 10 of the general classification, a lot of teams are chasing you because they want to save that 8th place in GC for the UC points. It's more interesting.
Besides Richard Carapaz, I think Florian Lipowitz is most unpredictable one in there in the top 10. If he gets in one of those two breakaway stages, and please let it happen, we will have fireworks.
I think from place 14 onwards, Sepp Kuss, 8 minutes 16. From there on, the guys can get in the break and can get a bit of freedom. But like we saw already, O'Connor gaining 6 minutes today, Yates gaining more than a little bit less than 4 minutes, if I recall correctly. You're right into the mix for top 10, top 5 in GC again. So yeah, those break stages are gonna be lovely to see.
All right. Thank you, Yves, for joining today. And thank you to the audience for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I think we will see you back on Sunday before the second rest day of La Vuelta.
Yes.
Adios.
Adios and vamos, Enric Mas.
I've got the spots, the sickness. There's the twins in my brain.